this doesn't even make any sense. This doesn't support my theory at all. It doesn't support any theory. It just says it's broken. It's so broken. Oh my gosh, what? Final Fantasy XI is approaching its 20th anniversary, and for a game that has been out for almost 20 years, you would think we know absolutely everything about it. But we actually don't know a lot. There's so much we still don't know. So we recently did a mild investigation into a rumor that I'd never heard before about deodorize preventing blood aggro from anything like undead that would find you by your injuries. Check out that video if you haven't seen it already. It was a lot of fun. Not exactly the most scientific test, but I think it did the job. Answered the questions. But people still debate. There was still debate in the comments. Anyways, another rumor that I've heard for years came up on our Twitch stream the other day, and for the first time, actually seems like it may have some merit. Let's talk about Beastmaster. First off, if you got that, we do stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not always Final Fantasy XI, but a lot of the times it is. Definitely come by and say hi. Bring all your crazy theories and fun Final Fantasy XI topics, as well as other games. I love video games in general. Let's talk about it. But Beastmaster. So, for literally decades now, it's kind of crazy that you can say that, but decades, this rumor has been going around, and I've never really given it much thought. That if you sub Beastmaster, the strength of your charm and the chance of its success is not based on the fact that your Beastmaster is, say, 37 sub, but is actually based on the main level of your Beastmaster if it was your main job. Now, I think I briefly tested this as like a level 41 red mage at one point trying to solo and had varying success, so I kind of just chalked it up to, that's ridiculous, it doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't make any sense. Why would that work that way? Nothing else in Final Fantasy XI works that way, where something that can vary in strength would, as a sub-job, actually rely on the level of the main Beastmaster job? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun debate in the comments over this one, but somebody brought something up during the stream that made a lot of sense about why this has been so hotly debated and why so many people take it at faith that this is 100% accurate. Because people do. This is a very widespread, like, it's almost one of those things that when it comes up, half the room will say, you didn't know that? When it doesn't even seem like it should be possible. The answer to that is gauge. For those of you that don't know, Beastmaster has a relatively weird job ability that, you know, comes in handy every once in a while, called Gauge, that gives you a report on how successful an attempt at charm might be on an enemy of your choice. You use it on an enemy, it doesn't really do anything, you know, to aggro the enemy, it just gives you some feedback. We're gonna go use it in a second. And for all this time, for the decades that I've known of this rumor, I have always assumed that people just did a lot of tests. They were out there charming as a 75 white mage Beastmaster with a level 37 Beastmaster main, and somebody else was a 75 white mage Beastmaster who had a 75 Beastmaster, and they just sort of compared. And I didn't know how detailed people had done their testing, or whether or not somebody was just really convincing early on and said, this is totally how this works. Everybody just kind of took it at face value. The fact that Gauge has been used in this argument changes everything. That gives a concrete level of evidence where the game spits out data on how likely you are to charm something. If two people of equal level try to charm the same thing with sub Beastmaster, but one of them is sub Beastmaster with the Beastmaster at, you know, say 35, 37, whatever, as their max level for Beastmaster, and somebody else does it, but their max level is in fact capped, the Gauge results should be different. Now, I haven't seen any like scientific reports. If you have some, please let me know. But I have seen some comments, because I knew what to look for this time when I was doing some research today. People did try this. And the answer in the threads is always just like, the results were different. And I was like, I want charts of data. What do you mean the results were different? I want to see how effective this is. Because what always makes this difficult is the charisma of it all. Charm success is also based on charisma, and to some effect, the light element. I know if you use the light staff, you get like the standard increase in accuracy that you get for like any kind of magic spell, which is kind of funny because it's a job ability. But anyways, my point being, like, light has an effect. Somebody explain charm to me. I don't get it. What is happening? It's hearts. Are you throwing out love? Are you just giving out good vibes? I don't get it. But we're getting off topic. Point is, a 75 white mage sub Beastmaster and a 75 Beastmaster sub white mage aren't going to have the exact same charisma. And a lot of people have always argued that, the reason that you would have more success, even if you're subbing Beastmaster, is because of the charisma of having your main job. But the whole gauge thing kind of throws that off, because even so, if you had 2 75 white mage Humes, for instance, one with a 37 Beastmaster capped sub, and the other with a 75 Beastmaster capped at 37 sub, gauge should respond identically for both of them. And from what I've heard, it does not. Now, I can't test that. I don't have somebody here that has a lower level, but interestingly enough, it's like the game, it's like I was made for this. Where's that Hulk meme? I was made for this. I haven't touched Beastmaster in a long time, but good news, it's not capped. It's level 69. And so is Bard. While I can't test what differing levels of Beastmaster success would be, I can go out as a naked Beastmaster sub Bard, gauge something that, I would in theory be able to charm semi-effectively, and then do the same thing as a Bard sub Beastmaster, both level 69, both naked, both charisma-focused jobs. Really interesting there. And just kind of see what it does. In theory, the results should be very similar, if not identical. But they shouldn't be. If the game works as it's supposed to, Bard sub Beastmaster, even with all of its charisma, should not have the same success rate of charm as a 69 Beastmaster sub Bard. They shouldn't. It should be based on your lower level sub. And that's where I wish we had somebody else here to do the other test, because all that would tell us is that maybe charm doesn't work like other abilities and it's not based on the strength of your job. But I have heard that if my Beastmaster was only like level 30 and I was subbing that my success rate would be much, much lower. And certainly I've seen that evidence in my own attempts. Anyways, let's get out here and try it. This is hysterical. I can't. This is absurd. Now, I want to take this moment to say, I want to hear everybody's thoughts in the comments on whether or not you think this is true, you thought this was true in the past, you've been convinced that it is true, it's false, whatever you think. Be civil. I have seen so many arguments about this one get so heated because fundamentally, the only way this would make any sense in my mind is if Square Enix screwed up. If there was a bug in Final Fantasy XI where somewhere around the code revolving around charm, it's looking at the wrong value and it's looking at your Beastmaster total main job level. Because nothing else that I know of in this game, and let me know in the comments if I'm forgetting something, takes into account any levels besides literally what is making up your job right then, which is main job, and half of that is your sub job. It doesn't care if you've spent years on Dark Knight and then de-leveled it, or if your Dark Knight is actually a 99 if you were subbing it on your Dragoon, which is a terrible idea, but you get my point. Like, it doesn't, Final Fantasy XI doesn't care. It does not care. It cares about what you currently are. So, I don't know, and just trying to think about where to go for this. Let's do our favorite little spot here. Just some lesser Calibri, decent challenge. I'm naked. It should be rather difficult, but doable. I can get out here easily. All right, test 1. I am Beastmaster sub Bard, level 69 Beastmaster, 34 Bard sub. Gauge on this lesser Calibri here. Now, just to make sure, unfortunately, I won't be able to clarify that it's the exact same Calibri, but they're all decent challenge, high evasion and defense. We can assume that they are essentially the same level. They should be exactly the same level. All right, Here comes Gage, coolest ability in the game. Some of you may never even have seen this ability fire off. It's pretty neat. Look at that. Bizarre. Look at all those analytics. It would be difficult for Churroy to charm the lesser Colibri. Alright, hang on. I'm nervous now. I gotta look up what the BG Wiki Gage. I always spell Gage wrong. It gives you... That's not good enough. I need the descriptions of the responses. Alright, 5 possible results. Players should be able to charm the mob, 75% success rate or higher. That's just like somebody wrote that in. I have no idea if that's accurate. Player might be able to charm the mob. It would be difficult for player to charm the mob. That's what I just got. It would be very difficult for player to charm the mob. Player cannot charm the mob. I think cannot charm the mob is only for notorious monsters, but I may be wrong about that. Let's quick go change to a 69 Bard sub Beastmaster. And in theory, this should be very difficult. If it says difficult, there's only one other option other than it truly cares about your master beast job level. The only other option would be that Gage itself is broken. But with how steadfast people are about this theory, I feel like you would notice the failure rate of the actual charms. People would have denied that Gage is successful long ago. They would have said it doesn't work when it's your sub. I'm sorry. Also, what level is Gage? Uh-oh, I didn't even think this through. What if it's level 10? Wow, really? That would have been terrible though, can you imagine? If I went to look up what level Gage was and you don't get it as level 69 Bard subbing Beastmaster. The funny part is, when we talked about the other myth that we investigated. Wait, wasn't that where the my house is? Oh, it's right over here. Weird. That was bizarre. When we talked about the deodorized myth, I'd never heard that until a few days before we did that test. I have heard this one. I've heard this one a lot, and people are very, very adamant that this is how it works. Let's go out the other way this time. What if Besiege comes by? Does anyone else still get nervous walking around in Al Zabi? I'm terrified at any moment that I'll get stuck there. Unable to leave. Terrified. Okay. Secret backdoor exit. Kakaroon, you want to come check it out? Now, what would be funny is if Bard's, high charisma actually made it lower than difficult. But it shouldn't. Anybody who's been out there subbing Beastmaster, Brady Games Guide knows this. The charm rate is difficult. Now there are some right here, but we're gonna ignore those because I don't want to throw any variables into it. They're even decent challenge, but no, we're gonna go back. We're gonna give it the highest chance of being the exact same Colibri as before. Everybody's tried summon beasts at one point. Most of the time it results in failure, even if you have got a bunch of charisma gear. But I don't know if I ever tried it after really leveling Beastmaster. Alright, we're gonna assume it's that one. He was looking at me funny. Test 2. Bard sub Beast, level 69 Bard, 34 Beastmaster. Here comes the Gage. Now, before we do this, I do want everybody to know, I don't consider this to be definitive one way or the other. It really just would call more into question Gage and make us, lend some credence to the overall theory. But my test here is not enough. We would have to do a lot of charm testing. You have to. You have to test charm. And I don't know if I have the strength or willpower to do that. Here we go. Churroy might be able to charm the lesser Colibri. it's lower. It's a higher chance of success. Final Fantasy XI is currently telling me that I have a better chance of charming that lesser Calibri as a level 69 Bard sub Beastmaster than a level 69 Beastmaster sub Bard. Now, Bard does have significant charisma. And in this case, 74 charisma. We should go back and check what my Beastmaster main sub Bard's charisma is at. Remember, 74. But I can't imagine under any circumstances, no matter how much the charisma difference is, it can't be more than a handful. That should allow me to have a better chance subbing Beastmaster. Guys, I think this might be legitimate. And I don't understand it. It has to be a bug. Final Fantasy XI has to legitimately be broken. Nothing should work like this. Everything that we know about how Final Fantasy XI works at its core goes against this. I am dumbfounded. What do you guys think? Hang on. We gotta go check the charisma level of the Beastmaster main. But this is insane. I never wanted to believe it. It doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't behave this way. By the way, nobody showed this to Square Enix's video. They might go fix it. And that would, I feel like, make a lot of people very angry. Years and years after this. Now, to be fair, this doesn't hurt anybody. They can always come back and say, like, what are you talking about? It's not a bug, it's a feature. Because we have so little access to the actual data, all we have is gauge. Alright, 74 charisma. Beastmaster Bard, 75 charisma. I'm more confused than I've ever been. The Beastmaster's higher. That has to mean it was a different Calibri, right? Like, there's no other explanation. Somehow they are slightly different level, decent challenge Calibri. It wasn't quite low enough to be easy prey yet. Yeah, that's the only explanation. They are different level. So we're going out one more time. Wow. But still, in my mind, with the level of your Beastmaster subjob, Bard charisma or no, you should have very little chance of success, based on my experiences. Especially naked. I've got nothing. We're heading back out. Honestly, just to gauge some stuff and see if I can get might be able to charm, because like, it doesn't make any sense. What? Again, screw those Calibri. We're gonna try and figure out which of these two is the one that I got before. They have to be different levels. They have to. I think Decent Challenge and Easy Prey can both be a wide range of levels. The only one that has to be exactly your level is, I believe, Even Match. Then tough, very tough, incredibly tough, all of those, everything else, there's a range. It can be a range. I mean, again, let's get this guy over here, because I feel like, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to believe anymore. It would be difficult to charm. What's Gage's timer? 20 seconds? Let's just charm everything here. Let's see if any of these say might be able to charm for my Beastmaster, which has one higher charisma. This doesn't even make any sense. This doesn't support my theory at all. It doesn't support any theory. It just says it's broken. It's so broken. Oh my gosh, what? This one might be able to. So this has got to be the guy. Anyways, I don't know, guys. This kind of supports it. What are your thoughts? Is this still bullshit? Does this mean that Gage is broken? Has charm always worked this way? The oldest posts that I saw were back in like 2005. People have believed this 100% with certainty since then. And to be honest, I had never noticed that anyone called out using Gage as a testing point to make things a little bit easier instead of just like charming over and over and over again and, marking your data to see the success rate. That's wild. Guys, I appreciate you coming out for this one. I really want to hear everybody's thoughts. This one, try not to get heated in the comment section. I know this one inspires a lot of frustration and passion, especially from the Beastmaster community, and I guess the sub Beastmaster community. But I want to hear your thoughts. Keep on the lookout for more videos like this. Like I said, join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Twitch for more streams, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Oh my god, he's casting stone! That's amazing! I can't believe he cast stone. That's so cool. Man, I gotta go get something else for him.